Okay, so this is standard 2.3. Describe the functions of Langerhans cells and melanocytes. What is the function of Langerhans cells? The skin is a barrier to bacteria and viruses. If you looked at standard 2.1, the skin keeps bacteria and viruses outside of our body. But sometimes bacteria and viruses are going to get past the outer layers of the epidermis. They're going to get down to the stratum granulosum and stratum spinosum. Langerhans cells are going to decide whether we should remount an immune response to these bacteria, kill them, or not. Bacteria are going to come get through here, the outer layer of the skin, and come down to the lower layers of our skin, and our Langerhans cells are going to decide whether we should destroy the bacteria or ignore them and just leave them alone doing their thing. Why do we need to have that? Because without Langerhans cells, we're going to be hypersensitive to bacteria and viruses, which would be bad for us. Because if you reacted to every bacteria and virus that got inside of your skin, whether it was good or bad, your body would constantly be freaking out, and it would not be fun. Having an immune response is a drastic thing. You only want it to happen when it's actually a real problem and a real bad bacteria virus. What is the function of melanocytes? The cells in the epidermis, stratum basale and stratum spinosum, that make melanin to protect our cells from getting damaged by radiation from the sun. These are the cells in the epidermis, right here. This big brown thing. It makes melanin. Melanin, which you probably know, is the thing that gives us our color and gives us protection from the sun. How does it do that? Melanin is a pigment, a chemical that blocks sun rays. So sun rays are going to shoot inside our body, and melanin is going to act like sunscreen and absorb that energy. The function of melanocytes is to make melanin to protect our cells from getting damaged by radiation from the sun. How do they accomplish their function? Melanosomes, little bags of melanin, get sent to the keratinocytes of the epidermis. So melanosomes, see this little blob coming off of the cell? That's a melanosome that gets sent to the cell and to protect them from the sun. Because when melanosomes get to the keratinocytes, they're going to drop this melanin, let it go, around the nucleus so that it can act like sunscreen and protect the nucleus from getting fried. Because if you remember from cancer, if the nucleus gets hit by radiation, it will mutate. And then our cells are going to be cancerous. We don't want that to happen. So that's why we have this sunscreen and the melanin there. So how do melanocytes accomplish their function? They make melanin, send it in melanosomes, and to protect the DNA of cells. And if you see, look at these long, like, tentacle things. That's so they can get to a bunch of cells. They want to send melanin and melanosomes to all these cells that are around them, so they all get protected. You will be asked to add a drawing of these things to your model for 2.2. Langerhans cells, melanocytes, melanosomes, melanin. How should you do this? Well, if you look at a picture of the skin, this is going to be stratum corneum, the outer layer of all those dead cells stacked in each other. This is going to be stratum granulosum, right where cells are starting to die. And then underneath that, we're going to have spinosum and basale. Okay, so to draw a Langerhans cell, you should draw it in stratum spinosum, or stratum granulosum up here with things sticking out of it. You can just draw a cell like that, just a circle. Melanocytes, you want to draw right up next to the basement membrane. Right up next to the basement membrane right here. Next to the dermis, right? This is the epidermis. This is the dermis. You draw the melanocytes next to the basement membrane. Melanocytes are going to have these things sticking out of them, right? Just like we saw in this last picture, these tentacle things. And you want to draw melanosomes and melanin. So you should draw, melanin can be these dots in the cells, in a cell of the epidermis, dots. Melanosomes should be a little bag with those dots in it. So you can draw the dots, and you can draw a bag with the dots inside of it. and that is standard 2.3. Describe the functions of Langerhans cells and melanocytes.